Well, the latest article from the Times of Israel has given a position in which they believe the Trump administration is in the best position anyone's ever been in order to bring peace to the Middle East. And it's all a part of a plan in order to make sure that no one is able to reject the plan that is to come. And this is what the article says. If it moves rapidly, the U.S. administration is exceptionally well placed to achieve substantive progress on the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, former U.S. Ambassador to Israel Dan Shapiro said Monday. Given the positive relations President Donald Trump has established with all the major players in the region, it will be difficult for them to turn down any request he and his emissaries make as they try to restart bilateral negotiations. Shapiro, who served as President Barack Obama's ambassador here from August of 2011 until January of 2000, I'm assuming that's 2017, said hours after the White House announced it was sending two top officials to try to jumpstart talks. I think they should move quickly. I believe the president is at the point of his maximum leverage right now, Shapiro said during a conference call organized by the Israel Project. It's very difficult for any party in the region after those early positive interactions to say no to him. He has established friendly relations. Each side wants to do more to deepen those positive relations with him. Both Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas have visited Trump in the White House and subsequently hosted him during his May trip to the region. Trump, who said in Israel on May 23rd that he was convinced both sides are ready to reach for peace, has also met with other key stakeholders such as the leaders of Jordan, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia. On Monday morning, a senior White House official said the president's special envoy for international negotiations, Jason Greenblatt, and his senior advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, would visit the region this week to advance the peace process. While Greenblatt has shuttled to Jerusalem and Ramallah a number of times since Trump took office, the addition of Kushner, considered one of the more powerful figures in the administration, raises the stakes, Shapiro posted. It essentially dares each party to say no, and my guess is they won't, he said. If Kushner and Greenblatt were to present on the president's behalf a set of principles and guidelines to guide the negotiations process, no party will want to risk being seen as the one rejecting it out of hand, the former envoy predicted. They may say yes, but they may say yes with reservations. But I think they, Kushner and Greenblatt, will have a real opportunity to move quickly to capitalize on the leverage the president has attained, he said. Shapiro pointed to Trump's unpredictability, including his famous affinity for lashing out at people on Twitter, as a source of Israelis and Palestinians' fears of saying no to the administration. His tweeting is an asset in that context, and regional leaders concerned over a possible reprisal for perceived obstinacy gives him additional leverage, said Shapiro, who currently serves as a distinguished visiting fellow at Tel Aviv's Institute for National Security Studies. And here's something that I think is of great concern and should be taken seriously. It says that Trump has made plain that he has certain concrete expectations of all sides. For example, Israel's limiting settlement building and the PA's cutting of payments to terrorist families, and has hinted that he will ask, or has asked, moderate Sunni Arab states to make gestures of normalization to Israel, Shapiro said. So all the things that we have seen so far, if Mr. Trump can successfully keep Israel from settlement building, from going outside the bounds of what he will accept, and if he can truly get the PA to cut payments to terrorist families, and we've already seen some signs of normalization between the moderate Arab world and Israel, if those three things can come together. And certainly that is a big if, but it looks to be that is exactly where it's heading at this time. But as I've said many times, there's always that chance that it could blow up in our face just when we think things are rolling toward an eventual peace accord. And getting back to the article, it says it seems to me that his preliminary conversations have led to the point where the time is coming for he and his administration to put forth their own ideas, perhaps to propose a set of principles to guide negotiations on final status and on the steps each side can take to support that effort, said Shapiro, who was involved in the last round of failed talks back in 2013-2014. Kushner and Greenblatt will meet with Netanyahu and Abbas separately in the coming days to discuss their priorities and potential next steps, the senior White House official told the Times of Israel Monday morning. It is important to remember that forging a historical peace agreement will take time, and to the extent that there is progress, there are likely to be many visits by both Mr. Kushner and Mr. Greenblatt, sometimes together and sometimes separately, to the region, and possibly many trips by Israeli and Palestinian negotiators to Washington, D.C., or other locations as they pursue substantive talks, the senior official said. President Trump has made it clear that working toward achieving a lasting peace agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians is a top priority for him, the White House official said. He strongly believes that peace is possible. Well, according to the former U.S.-Israeli ambassador, Dan Shapiro, this looks to be the time to bring peace because it seems to him that Mr. Trump has made all the right moves and is making sure that he's got pressure on everybody involved to not be the person or the country that causes this peace process to explode. And he's got it to the point to where that nobody wants to say no to Mr. Trump. It's almost to the point to where it sounds like that everyone else is looking to see who else is going to blink first. And if nobody blinks, we might just have ourselves the peace accord or the confirmed covenant that the Bible has talked about for thousands of years that could come, that is going to come to pass in these last days. Now, certainly we don't want to get ahead of ourselves and declare anything a done deal. As I've said many times, I believe that the Bible does state that the Antichrist will come out of the European Union. But right now, as I said in my last video, Mr. Trump is in the driver's seat. So for now, I am going to watch this, follow this through to see how far Mr. Trump can take it and where indeed this will lead. And there's a scripture verse I want to bring up here that and just remind you that in Daniel 8:23 through 25, I want to read it. It says, "And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Peace, or the Prince of Princes, but he shall be broken without hand." Now what I want to key on is in Daniel 8:25, the very beginning. It says, "And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand." And now what I believe that has always been, and what I've always interpreted it as, is that he will cause the economy to be very good, and he will be a crafty and successful business person. Now, of course, some people do, and some experts do, interpret that craft to be witchcraft. In other words, he would do miracles. And certainly, at some point in time, the Antichrist will do miracles. But I think this is talking about a kind of trickery, in which I believe that he will make the world economy prosper, and certainly the second part of it is that he shall magnify himself in his heart. That's certainly not out of the line of any world leader that will come upon the world stage. So whoever the Antichrist turns out to be, the Bible, as far as I interpret it, indicates that he will cause craft, or what I believe to be the economy, to prosper due to his efforts in order to make that possible. But the point I wanted to bring up is that it seems to me that we are moving into deep waters in this peace process, and now seems to be a very favorable time in which the Trump administration right now is in charge, and it may have come to a point in which no leader, whether it be from the Arab League, whether it be from the Palestinians or Israel, nobody wants to be seen as the person that causes this peace process to explode. So instead of seeing that happen, or being the person who is ultimately the guilty party, is it possible that they may sign a peace accord or a confirmed covenant, and just because they don't want to be seen as the leader that causes this peace process to fail? Now, certainly I can't imagine what the consequences would be if in fact one party decides to back out and to not pursue this peace process. I would have to believe that the Trump administration would lead a charge against this country or group of countries that would be very devastating. I can easily see sanctions, apartheid type isolation, and whatever else they can think of. So we're just going to keep our eye on this to see exactly which way this does go. And certainly I, like you, keep wondering when in fact this is going to implode. But the truth of the matter is that we're still here, and the peace process is still moving forward. So we'll leave it like that. And if you don't know the Lord, today is the day of salvation. Don't put it off. 150,000 people are going to die today. The Bible says that the vast majority of them are going to end up in a burning hell. Don't let that happen to you. Come to the Lord today. Ask Him to save you. And you Christians, you need to get a copy. You need to get multiple copies of my Tribulation Period Survival Guide. Just go down to the description section under this video, and it will send you to a link where you can either get the paperback version, or you can get a free digital version that is written in 9 different languages. Both of them are the same book, basically, but for those who want to get a paperback version, you'll be able to hand your lost friend or loved one this book, so in fact, when the tribulation period does take place, they will have this guide on them. And a lot of people have opted to get that instead of the free version. But if you'd like to check out the content of the book first before you actually purchase it, I would recommend that you download it, check out the content, and then get the paperback version. But if I were you, I'd make that decision real quick. Well, this is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.